was Minutes Ago by Matt Crossland. Hello, Matt. How are you?
I'm good, Tar. You?
Yeah, very well, thank you. So today we're here to discuss your new single, Minutes Ago. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it's coming out on the 29th of September, and we went back to Warren Studios in Sheffield, where we've been making all the magic happen. So Minutes Ago is coming out on the 29th, and it's going to have a B-side called Redcliff Blues, which was also written and recorded there, and then it's going to have another song on it called Dreamworld, which we released first, but without drums and bass, so it's more of a bit of a stripped down version, which I prefer. I actually like it because you can hear all the lead and the vocals a bit better, and yeah, it's one of my favourites.
That's interesting because you're telling me this right now, and this is the first time I've been made aware of this. And having heard that version when you recorded Dreamworld anyway, it is amazing.
Yeah.
So that's just got me excited. Just to
know that one's
yeah,
coming out.
Yeah. And Redcliff Blues as well, you say?
Oh yeah, have you heard that track?
Yeah. That was on the original album plan, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but obviously we've moved that to a B-side. And I'll be recording some older songs from the band years. So like this one, Minutes Ago, is like it'd be about 15 years old. And I wrote it. It was one of the last songs that I wrote for our band, and then our drummer packed his bags and went to Canada and didn't come back. So that was the end of that one. So I think we only played it live once, and that'll have been at a little special building called The Lamp.
Right, yeah.
In Hull, if you remember that.
Yeah.
Did you ever play it?
No, but I used to go for Sunday dinner there.
Sunday dinner?
Yeah, they used to do dinners. It was lovely.
I'd just like to clarify that it's not a Brewster's.
It was a really, really good gig venue.
Yeah.
And I did go there to see some bands. However, like it also did a really good dinner. And
did it? I didn't. Yeah. I was not aware
on
of that.
Sunday.
Wow. Well, I wouldn't have been there on a Sunday. I'd have been there on a Saturday night, levered, playing guitar. And then,
I was the
Sunday.
opposite. I was there on the Sunday lunch.
Yeah. Well, as I say, we used to play there all the time, and when I very first got with my wife, I started seeing her, and we were playing a lot of the gigs at Lamp, and she had a family wedding, and it was on the same day as a gig, so I got in some right trouble because I'd only just started seeing her, and I was supposed to be I can't remember, it was like someone important in her family anyway, and we was supposed to be at this wedding, and I was like, I've got a gig later, so I left the wedding, got changed, did the gig, and then went back to the wedding.
That's
she didn't
commitment.
So she didn't kick my ass.
It's dedication to the job, isn't it?
Yeah, get the job done.
Yeah, I like it.
So, but yeah, I used to love playing that. It was probably one of my favourites back in the day. It's such a shame that it's not a venue now, isn't it?
No, it is a shame. Obviously, we've lost a few, and that's a problem nationwide, really.
Yeah.
In terms of, you've got some upcoming gigs. We'll discuss that. But you got to play Trinity Live for the first time.
Yeah. As
a solo artist.
Yeah.
And I think the text that you sent me that day was absolutely shitting it, mate. But then you said it went all right.
Yeah, well, it's real bizarre, right? Because I sometimes go and check it out, and I was like, it's really busy this, and then out of the blue, for whatever reason, Mark Page messaged me and he was like, oh, you come and play Trinity. So I was like, absolutely. So anyway, I was thinking about a week. It didn't really register, and then about a week before, I was like, I had to pull this one out of the bag because it's quite a busy one, isn't it? And then up to the gig, I was really nervous about it. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I wanted to play there for so long, but then every time I've been there as well, it was like packed to the rafters. But it was real strange because the day leading up to the gig, like I left work early at 12 o'clock, went home, got a bit of rest because the little one's been keeping us up and that and kicking off on the night. Got a little bit of rest and had a bit of a practice, and then when I turned up there, I wasn't nervous whatsoever. It was real strange, and then because it was such a big crowd, it was kind of informal. Like when you play the open mic nights and that, and like other gigs, it's a bit more where you've got like 10 or 15 people watching your every move. It wasn't really like that. It was busy, and the crowd was brilliant. They all interacted really well. You know, nobody booed, thankfully, and everybody. I got a good reaction from it. And the other thing as well is it was quite a good sound. So when I was up there, I felt quite comfy.
Yeah, They do a great job in terms of the sound engineering, the sound on stage, because the room noise in there, it's because it is a market. It's quite a noisy room.
Yeah, it's a noisy environment. But
so when you're listening to artists, it sometimes can be a little bit difficult with the room noise. But in terms of being on stage, it's actually brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it was having a laugh because when I went up to play, he goes to me, "Oh, you go on in a minute." So he did a big introduction, but before that, I goes over to this fella and he's sat at this table. And he's got all these tall stools. I'm like, "Can I borrow one of them, fella?" And he's like, yeah. So I walked over and puts it on the stage, and he was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Sitting down." And he went, "You're not standing up." So I was like, "I don't stand up for fucking anybody." I was like, "I sit and play my guitar. I don't stand up." And he was like, "I won't stand up if the fucking king was in here." And then he started laughing at me, and he was like, "I can't believe you're not standing up, you lazy bastard." So I was like. But I'd just like to say, obviously, I don't stand up here because I don't want to. But B, actually, my guitar that I play doesn't have a strap lock on it as well, and I dare drill an hole in it because it's very expensive.
Yes. So
I'm just I'm sitting down. I ain't playing for anybody.
Yeah, I get that. There's been as an acoustic artist, that is okay. It is okay to sit down. If you look at all those great MTV Unplugged, they're all sat down, aren't they?
Yeah.
It is a thing. And I've seen artists at Trinity Live sit down before, so
I'm not the exception.
I've definitely seen it. So and not on a tall stool either. I've seen them sit on a chair.
On a chair.
Yeah.
See, I like the stool because then at least it looks like you're the same height, doesn't it? Whereas when you're on a chair, it's like living room fodder, innit?
It is.
But I enjoyed it. It was good. To be fair.
So in terms of future gigs, then you said your single's coming out on the 29th September.
Yeah, and I actually have a gig on that day, I believe.
Oh, release day gig. That's perfect.
Yeah, and I'm not going to sing anything. I'm just going to stand there on repeat and just say my new songs on Spotify and see how many people
hold your
take
phone
it.
up to the microphone.
And go, "This is me." I'll tell a lie. It's not on the release date. It's the day after.
Okay, that's good.
But I'm playing Vintage Bar today, which I'm looking forward to. But I'm a little bit tired because it was real hot yesterday and I had about 9,000 beers.
Today being the day that we're recording this, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's probably be gone by the time that this is. Done. But okay.
Yeah. And I've got Brain Jar on the 14th, which is next Thursday.
Okay.
Then I have got. For Sesh, I've got Cheese Bar, Hull and Crown and Cushion on the 30th, and then Humberdock on the 1st. So I've got a few banged in there.
And is that a part of the Trinity Festival?
Yeah, it is, yeah. Mac messaged me the other day and had a few dates for us. So
that's good.
Yeah, I think that's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing.
Right.
But there'll be people everywhere, I imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. I know we're playing this Saturday tea time.
Where at?
Is it Nanook?
I might pop over and see then, because I think the second one that I do on that day is at 4:04.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Possibly.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we're on
such an organised artist.
We're on 5 till 5:30, and then it's Liverpool Tottenham at 5:30.
Oh, is it?
So I'm trying to think, can I get off and find somewhere to watch that whilst obviously enjoying the music.
And who will you be wanting to win that match?
I'm not really that bothered. Probably Liverpool, but I ain't bothered. I ain't bothered. No. I'm a Hull City fan, so that's why I don't like football.
Well, I'm a Man United fan and I've gone swiftly off it as well. Hopefully they'll pull it round.
So in terms of the release then, you've got gigs, you've got obviously the release date, you've got a B-side and a C-side. What's next?
Well, originally I had the whole album thing on the go and I wasn't going to release them all as singles. I was going to do 3 songs with the B-sides, but it's just in between that I've had loads of stuff going on in the background, like job insecurity and all that stuff, so it's kind of like put a bit of a pooper on it. But in between that I've been able to still whip off and record, because originally I was recording like monthly, but obviously because of my job I didn't go from, I think the last time I went was April until last week, which is a big chunk of the year gone, whereas otherwise I'd have had probably an album's worth of stuff recorded. So I've released this one, and then coming up next I'm hoping to have a couple of more tracks, but it'll probably be after Christmas now realistically, because I'm probably going to do an EP or something like that along the lines of that with 3 or 4 songs on. We'll see. And then an acoustic album. I'd like to do that as well.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah. So we'll be
back to like
mixing.
Just basics and how it was when it was written.
And how we get to hear it most of the time, because I ain't got a band. Like when Mac messaged me and he was like, "Do you play Trinity Live?" I was like, "You do realise I haven't got a band?" Like, 'cause obviously they learn Spotify and stuff. Then you rock up on your own, don't you? Like, where's the rest of them? And then it's like man with guitar. So obviously it doesn't have the same effect.
No, but it's nice. It's nice to acknowledge both sides of it, isn't it? Because the song is what it is with the acoustic guitar and the vocal and the melody, but then all that other production stuff, that's great in terms of performance and you deserve to get your songs to those levels where it's like, oh, this is just banging. But it is really, really difficult, particularly as a solo artist, somebody who is writing and recording music, because without being a band, without being the whatever or whatever you want to call yourselves, and that's hard work, isn't it? Getting people to rehearse, getting all those things. Whereas if you're passionate songwriting and you like to record music, this is a great way of doing it, and you can do both.
I love the freedom of it. Like, I'll be sat there one day and I'll be like, I'm going to do this. And then if I change my mind, I ain't got 4 other fellas giving me an hard time about it. It's just like, well, that's what I'll do instead then. And then the other thing as well is like, all I remember literally from being in a band was, it was great playing live, but the build up to playing live was horrific, because you'd have messing around with rehearsals, everyone was taking drugs, everyone was pissed up half the time, and it just, obviously I was a lot younger then. It was just like, it was all disorganised. Yeah. Like, I think if you're gonna be a successful band, I think you have to be organised and you have to be a certain type of people.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of the bands that we was in at that time were doing exactly the same thing. I mean, there was good bands, but they're never gonna get that sort of way in the music industry now, because they're not organised enough. It's a business, innit?
It is, and I think that the music industry has got this culture and this sort of identity that rock and roll, that is what it's all about. Well, the reality is it's about music and really hard work. And if any of the younger bands that are out there, or not even younger bands, like just bands that are doing it, if they can take a professional and like sort of like entrepreneurial mindset towards it and think this is a brand, it's a business, and yes, there's being cool, but there's also being good and professional and all those other things. You can achieve really, really good things, but for a lot of people, it's about the rock and roll. It's about I didn't change my views on it up until a few years ago. But I was talking, as an example, to a friend at Adelphi. I won't mention it, but when I got talking to him, he was like, "Oh yeah, he was going to open mic nights and he was a solo artist, just starting out, just songwriting." And then I got talking to him and he was like, "Oh yeah, well, I'm starting a band, but I'm just waiting for the contracts to come through." So I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Oh well, we're going to do this and we're going to do that," but they had a band contract to specifically to what like they would be doing and what obviously their involvement in it and stuff. So obviously their approach to it would be professional and go and do this and do that, and then they'd get paid equals, or they'd be songwriting, blah blah blah. There was never any of that when we was in a band. No. It was like it was getting the beers in and what time we were rehearsing, and then you could be going and doing your show, and then there was no any mention of contracts. Everyone would just think you was an alien. Yeah. Well, I do think that's a great idea, it's particularly when you understand how complex the whole process is, and everybody really should have their own role. Where, like you say, being a solo artist, I've done it for a number of years. I'm going back to working with my band now predominantly, but you do have that thing of when you're working on your own, I can just get on with this. I can get on with it in my own way, my own style. I don't have to answer to anybody, because otherwise you do end up sort of going, like, he's brilliant at the guitar or the drums or whatever, but he doesn't really contribute anything else. Or
he done right, or he done
and so it does make things difficult. So setting things out with clear boundaries, and if a contract's a way of doing that, that's a really, really good professional way of making sure that everybody understands what their role is within the band. Because there's so much to consider. But yeah, it's a good idea.
Well, as you find out when you start doing all the Spotify stuff and that, it's just them registering your music and all that. It's a full-time job, innit?
Yeah, it's not the...
And you've got to have your head on. You can't be getting off your head and trying to work out all that, can you? Because your head will blow up.
Yeah,
as I say, I do prefer being a solo artist, but the one thing that I do miss out of all of it is, it was a really good laugh with the other fellas doing all the stuff, but when you're doing your material, you've got that bounce back where someone will go, oh, it's not that good, that bit, or they'll go, oh, that's brilliant, that bit. Whereas when you do it yourself, you're taking it to a studio, you're giving them a naked version, aren't you? And especially when you do it live, when you're a songwriter, you go play a gig, don't you? And then you're like, well, this is a new song I've written the other day, and you could go down like a right lead balloon, couldn't you?
You could, and
nobody else has.
I would argue that a producer probably should be looking to encourage these kind of things as well.
Oh no, I mean if you went to a gig and you've not played it to them,
I understand. Like, and if you're just playing it live, but that's when your open mic nights and things like that, you can sort of. But even so, they quite often your music, as soon as you write something, it's no longer yours. It's the audience's. So yes, their feedback is important, but you could play that song on another night, and it might be the best song you've ever played in your life. It all depends on the moment. So it's understanding that and making sure that the songs fit that.
We have a bit of a standing joke at work because like some of the older fellas, they just take the piss out of everything. And like when I released my songs, I was like, oh, have a listen to my songs, see what you think. And then like one of them come in and he was like, oh yeah, I listened to your song last night. It's like, yeah, oh, what do you think? Fucking shit. And it's like, cheers, mate. And then like somebody as an example as well, somebody from who was watching the Trinity live set tagged me on Instagram and put incredible voice. So obviously with that, it was like screenshot straight on WhatsApp. I was like, just saying. And then there's this banter, and then they're like, oh, well, it's been a good laugh, really. But but you don't get any true criticism off them.
No.
Because it's just you see the slander or. But then in the same instance where people come up to me and go, that's brilliant, mate, love it.
I've had a very similar thing from my working background where people, now I've been doing my job for 20 years, and I've been saying to people every single week, I'm playing here this weekend, I'm playing there this weekend, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And you can see them all kind of like rolling their eyes thinking, who does he think he is or whatever.
Yeah.
And then every now and again, somebody will be there at a gig and they nearly always say to me, do you know what? Actually, you're really, really good. I just always, I always just presumed that you'd just be really shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I kind of try and tell you, I'm out this weekend, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and like, more often than not, you're not doing those things if you are really, really shit. You're like...
Yeah, I mean, it depends what you determine is really shit, doesn't it? Because everyone's at different levels out there with it. Yeah. But I've had all that.
But when you're talking about people who have no musical knowledge...
They just presume that you're shit, don't they?
What's that about?
Yeah. Like, you play guitar. You play guitar. You can't play. You sing. You don't sing. I've heard you sing at work and you sound rubbish. It's like, no, I don't sing along to the radio while I'm drilling a fucking door off to my maximum potential, do you? It's just like, what are you on about? And then, like, as I say, like, when I always get a bit nervous when some of them go, oh, we're going to pop it from work, and like the ones who slated you, like, we're going to pop and see you tonight, and you sat there thinking, oh, it's going to be like a pack of wolves, this. And then especially if they've had a few beers and they're giving it the big ones. But generally, they say it's all right, yeah.
Cool. Right, anything else, Matt?
No, that's it, really. Hope everybody enjoys the song, and we'll see how it goes down when it comes out.
Cool. Well, 29th September.
Yeah, that's us.
Minutes ago, with 2 B-sides.
Yeah, Redcliff Blues and Dreamworld.
And we'll catch you all later.
Yeah, cheers.